Hello, in this video we're going to handle dividing. In my previous video I did multiplication, so today we're dividing complex numbers. So as I said, a complex number is any number formed by joining a real part and an imaginary part. So these two, this is the real part, as I said, and bi is the imaginary part. So in division of complex numbers, what happens is we introduce a new concept. So when given a plus bi divided by c plus di, so we introduce a new concept called a conjugate. So a conjugate is basically the opposite sign, or the opposite of the sign that is present. So a conjugate of c plus di is c minus di. This is the conjugate. So when you get the conjugate, you multiply the conjugate on the numerator and also multiply the conjugate on the denominator. So this is what I mean. Let me do it and maybe perhaps explain the concept better. So when given a plus bi all over c plus di, what you need to do is multiply, as I said, multiply by the conjugate. So all these multiplied by the conjugate, which is c minus di, into bracket. Same here, multiplied by c minus di. So this means that now the numerator becomes a plus bi multiplied by c minus di divided this by c plus di into c minus di. So this is the first step. You've solved that part. You've found the conjugate, of course. Then now you're trying to solve the whole equation. So the next thing is, let me just change the pen here to have a white. So the next thing here is now open the bracket the normal way, as I taught in my previous video. This is c, so ac, then a times negative di, that is minus a di, then plus c bi, then plus, now okay, minus, not really, okay, I'm saying like I'm writing division here, minus bi di. So this is a b di squared. But remember, I squared in complex numbers is equivalent to 1. Negative 1, sorry. So this means therefore that by us, so okay, this is the numerator. Sorry, let me just redo that process. So as I said, I squared is negative 1. Now what? Then this is the numerator. The denominator becomes c. Now let me introduce something simple. It's something that I'll teach in indices. That's my next video. So in indices, there's something called difference between squares. Difference between squares implies that this is anything in the form of a plus b into a minus b always should be given by a squared minus b squared. If you notice keenly, our b here is di, our b as well here is di, and our a is c in both areas. Yeah. Now, okay. So in this case, this really helps in making this whole thing, instead of us opening one by one, you can solve this simply. you have your a. That means you just pick your a, square it. That is, we get c squared. Then minus, what is our b? B is di. So minus di squared. You've solved the denominator. You don't need to open a lot of equations, you know, opening this a times a times b. No. You just, as long as you understand, this is actually the third quadratic identity that states that a squared, a plus b into a minus b, a equals to a squared minus b. So that is the difference between squares. You're taking a and b. The difference is now the answer to a plus b into a minus b. So we proceed. I'm trying to make this as simple as it can, as simple as it should be, so that at least this whole concept of complex numbers being hard, you know, we want to eradicate that that mentality. So the next thing is, now we have our numerator. Let's solve our numerator and have, this is ac minus a di plus c bi. Now this is negative 1 times b di times negative b di, that is positive b di. Yeah, and that is, you have solved the numerator. The denominator now therefore becomes c squared. Now d squared, okay, this is minus d squared I squared. Yeah, so this means therefore that the final thing will be ac minus a di plus cbi plus b di divided by c squared. This is negative 1, so plus d squared. So this is the answer for now. We can actually go further and make it as simple as we can, but that is only, I mean, that is easier when done on an example, and that takes us to the next step, that is doing the first example. So the first example, the first example is so given that we've been given a question 4 minus 2i all over 3 plus 5i. Then therefore the solution, so the solution to this, the first thing is multiply by the conjugate. So multiply by the conjugate. What is our conjugate? That is 4. I mean, not really 4. But our conjugate is normally picked from the denominator. So that is 3 minus 5i multiplied by 3 minus 5i. The next thing is now to open up. So 4 times 3, that is 12. Negative 2, I mean 4 times negative 5i, that is minus 20i. Negative 2 times 3, that is minus 6i. Then plus 10i squared divided by 3 times 3, that is, I mean, as I said previously, this and this forms 3 squared minus 5i squared. As I said, it's difference between squares, makes work a little bit simple. The next thing we proceed and say, so this gives us what? So we collect like terms, 12, and of course I said this is negative. This is negative 1, so negative 1 times 10, that is negative 10. So 12 minus 10, that is 2. So 12 minus 10, that is 2. Then negative 20 minus 6, negative 26i divided by 3 squared, that is 9, minus 25i squared, that is minus 25i squared. But this is negative 1 as well. This gives us what? 2 minus 26i divided through by 9 plus 25. And this should be equals to 2 minus 26i divided by 9 plus 25, that is 34. So this can divide by both areas so that we remain with something with our answer in the form of a plus bi. So this should be given, this should give us 2 over 34 minus 26 over 34i. So of course we can simplify this further to have 1 17 by 2 13 by 2 17. Therefore the final answer should be, so final answer should be should be 1 over 17 minus 13 all over 17i. So this is our final answer. That is how you do division of complex numbers. I'll do a second example, then leave the rest as an assignment. You do it. Let me know your answers on the comment section. Please post your answers. Feel free to post them, whether wrong or right, and then I'll be following up and reply with the correct answers, perhaps, and reach out and show you how to do them. So quickly, let me clear this other part. Another example. Now this time round I'll try to do this. So let's solve. So solve. We have a question written, negative 3 plus 5i divided by negative 3 plus I. So how do you solve this? As I said before, now the trick comes when, I think when people see a negative already, this kind of confuses them, but still the principle is the same. Our conjugate this time round will be what? Negative 3 minus I. You only change the sign in between the numbers on the denominator, nothing else. Don't change any other sign. So this is also negative 3 minus I. Then open it up. Negative 3, that is 9. Negative 3 times negative 1, that is positive 3i. Positive 5 times negative 3, that is negative 15i. Then 5i times negative I, that is minus 5i squared. Then all this divided by, as I said, this is a product of unity. This is negative 3 squared minus I squared. So we proceed and say, the next thing is, let me change this this font. So the next thing is collect like terms. 9, this is negative 1, so 9 plus 5, that is 14. Yeah. Then 3i minus 15i, that is negative 12i, divided that by negative 3 squared, that is 9 minus I squared. But this can be equal to 14 minus 12i divided by 9 plus 1, that is 10. The final answer therefore becomes, this is 14 over 10 minus 12 over 10i, which gives us 7 over 5 minus 6 over 5i. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is our final answer. So this is how you do division of complex numbers. It's a personal initiative assignment. Please do it and let me know your answers on the comment section. I'll be posting the correct answers once you guys have posted your comments. I'll be going through all the comments to see who understood and who got stuck. Thank you very much. Just a minute, let me post an assignment. So assignment, I can even also clear this. An assignment. So an assignment, more or less of a personal initiative. So the first one, solve 8 plus 5i divided by 2 plus 6i. The second one, please solve 3 plus 4i divided by 8 plus 2. Okay, not 8 plus but minus 8 minus 2i. The third one is please solve I divided by negative 3 plus I. Solve this and let me know your answers on the comment section. Try solve all the, just on the comment section, just put the answers. Then if you're stuck somewhere, let me know on the comment section as well. Thank you very much. Let's meet on the next video on how to do other operations on complex numbers.